Today, I'm very excited about the topic that I'm going to cover because I'm sure that it's going to inspire lots of you guys. And I really hope that it will because, I know that lots of people are trying to find new ways of making money online or just ways of making money online, really. So, basically, I'm going to share my journey with you and tell you exactly, why I've decided to embrace the FBA adventure. So, regarding my journey, basically, I have 10 years of experience over 10 years of experience in digital marketing. It's my thing. I just love it. Basically, I did 7 years with a digital marketing agency, quite well-known one. I spent 7 years, sorry, with them. And then I decided to, start my journey, my solo journey, basically. And I just love it. I love the freedom that comes with, deciding everything that you're doing, deciding on the clients that you want to work with, deciding on the projects that you want to focus on. And because that's something actually, when I was working agency side, it was really frustrating sometimes. You'll have project or clients that you don't relate, like you don't really like what they do. You don't see the interest of their doing from a human perspective. But, you still have to find creative ways to market their products. And that was really difficult for me. And I noticed that actually when I was doing, whenever I had a project, if there was if there was an opportunity to add, so a charity, something like working with charity on a campaign or stuff like that, I will do it. And also I had, I had the privilege, I will say, to work with some clients, basically some pharmaceutical clients that were developing, very like cutting edge treatment for rare diseases. And I found that, stuff like that actually that had meaning were really, projects that were appealing to me. So, when I understood that actually I could, still do my digital marketing work and actually bring some contribution to the world, like help some people who actually need it. For instance, in the case of the rare diseases, those are diseases that not lots of people know about. And I was helping basically to raise awareness about those diseases, which means that maybe some people were struggling, didn't really know what was happening. And who knows, maybe when they saw some of our campaigns, they understood that actually they had one of the rare diseases, one of those rare diseases, sorry. So, yeah, so I decided to go on my own, to be self-employed so that I can have that control, to be able to actually see a client, know that I'd love to work with them. I love what they're doing and then go for them to pitch them and basically work with them. So far, so good. I love the journey. I really do. Like, I wouldn't change it because obviously it wasn't an easy journey. It wasn't an easy journey at all. From being working for an agency where basically they look for the clients and bring them to you, to being the one who actually has to do everything, the one who has to go out there, find the clients, and then develop the strategies. For that, there was no problem because that's that's what I love, basically solving problems for clients, looking where there are, issues or where they could do better, and then develop a strategy to help them achieve their business objectives. And the problem today, we're talking about FBA. The reason why we're talking about FBA is, well, I'm a woman, as you can see, and I have my ambitions as well. I have my ambitions and I also love family. I come from a family, a big family, a large family, where I felt really happy because there was always someone I could go and talk to. So I wanted to give my children the chance to have the same upbringing, have that love. Wherever they turn, there's love. There's someone they can go to talk to. So, because like I said, it's something that really helped me. I'm the last born of my family. And I remember there was no such thing as boredom. There was always something to do, always someone to talk to, etc. So basically, that brings it to why we're here today. Basically, like I said, I have my ambitions, digital marketing and even more. I have other visions, other projects in the future, but I didn't want to be that lady who sacrificed her family life for money and for her career. I wanted to have best of both worlds. I wanted to have children, I wanted to have children, a family, a happy family I could go to after, let's say, a day doing some hard work. I have people to go and hug and spend time with. So that's my vision of life, basically. And with that, I had to do lots of sacrifices, I would say, but which I don't regret. Today, we are here because basically, when I had two kids, it was easy for me to actually manage my work and my family life and to have that balance, really. But when now, basically, I have 4 of them and I'm the happiest, that's my dream. That was the dream. And God, blessed me with that, because I always wanted, even growing up as a little kid, I would say maybe from my teen years, I saw myself as having 2 boys and 2 girls. And that's something that I was not going to compromise. 2 boys and 2 girls. And God blessed me with that. So I'm very happy. However, when it comes to work, like I said, when I had 2 of them, it was easy to find that balance. But when I had my 3rd one, things started to get trickier. But, I don't shy away from hard work, because I'm just like that. I know if you want to do something, you just have to put in the work to get it. So I would wake up very early at, so 3 a.m. sometimes, depending on the load of work that I had. I would wake up around 3 a.m. My usual, waking time is 4:44. That's when I wake up. But if I have lots of things, I will wake up at 3 a.m. and then make sure to finish everything by 7 a.m. So yeah, that's my, as a self-employed and someone who wants to, I want to spend that time with my children. I don't want to miss a bit. Because when my daughter Jasmine was growing up, the first one, I was missing those things. I will go to nursery after work and they would tell me, oh, you know what? Today Jasmine did this. And I would be like, do you have a video of it? Oh no, it was so quick. I'd be like frustrated. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to basically be self-employed, to have, to see my children grow and not miss a single bit. Anyway, enough of all the story. Now I have 4 kids and I found it, I knew, when I was pregnant with the 4th one, I knew that it was almost impossible for me to continue doing what I was doing with 2 and then 3 kids. It's impossible. So I decided, basically, I knew that I had to slow down with my work, because for me, there's no stopping. I can't stop. I just can't. If I completely stop my work, even for a year or 2, I can't even think about that, to be honest. So, I had to find a solution, a solution, like something that will allow me basically to work less hours and generate the same amount of money, or even more. Yes, that's me. Even more. Why not? Than, what I was making with my digital marketing consultations. So basically, I did lots of research. And as you know, online, there are a lot of, people selling you stuff, like lots of things. regarding making money online. But for me, already working on, in digital marketing, it was easy to discern, like, okay, this is just, yeah, don't go there. But, and then one day I went to the restaurant with one of my friends and we were talking. I was basically expressing my frustration, like, looking for different options. And there was nothing that seemed to suit me and what that vision that I had really. And my friend was like, oh, I know some colleagues who actually, who are doing FBA. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but it has something to do with Amazon. I was like, yeah, I heard about FBA. But, at some point on YouTube, people we had like lots of affiliate things around FBA, lots of adverts around FBA, and it was like, oh, right, just another one. So I didn't really pay attention. I didn't really think about it as being an option. And then when my friend said that, she was like, yeah, I even, one of them is even quitting because his business, his FBA business is exploding. I was like, okay, is that possible? Is that, so I got interested after that discussion and I started to do some research. And after doing some research, I realized two things. I realized that FBA actually was going to allow me to use some skills, some knowledge that I actually gained during my degree. And that was going to be the first time, because I have a degree in international trade that I never used. I have a master's degree in international trade and I never used anything that I learned during that degree. Basically, marketing. We did marketing at the time, but, it was back in 2009 to 2010. That's when I did the master's degree. And at the time, digital marketing, like, businesses using digital marketing, especially in France, because I did my degree in France. So businesses were not really actively doing that. Some of them, like the pioneers or people who saw, like who had the visionary, basically, eye, saw what was coming. So they embraced digital marketing, but it wasn't all the companies. So even at the university, what I learned was marketing, like traditional marketing with billboards, TV, etc. But we didn't mention digital marketing. However, I was lucky because during my degree, we basically learned about we learned about marketing, project management, all of that. But then I had to either go work for an international company in France or go and do my internship abroad, basically. So I was like, okay, I looked for stuff, I applied for a couple of things in France. They were not, I got some negative answers. And I was like, okay, let me try England, because I had already spent a year in England at the time. And I really enjoyed Brighton. Brighton was like, it was really, really lovely. Knowing that I was a student and, whoever knows Brighton understands the student life there. So, so basically, I came to Brighton to do marketing. I didn't even know that it was digital marketing. And finally, when I got here, I learned that it was something called digital marketing. So, my internship was like a breakthrough. And I remember after my internship, I went back to France and I was telling my teachers basically, because we had to, write, in France, we call it mémoire, but it's basically an essay. You write an essay about your internship, basically, and then you present it to a jury, like some of your teachers, basically. So I remember I was so enthusiastic about it, and I told them about, how digital marketing works, and they were just like, just watching me with those eyes. And I was so enthusiastic. And well, yeah, to shorten the story. So basically, I had a degree that I never used. And I realized that with FBA, I was going to be able to use some of the knowledge that I learned during my degree. And oh boy, was I excited. I got so excited about FBA because of that. Because with FBA, you need to know a bit of negotiations. You need to basically choose a product, the product that you believe people will be, interested in. And then you have to, after that, you need to negotiate the price with the supplier. You need to find the supplier first. You need to find the supplier and then negotiate the price with the supplier. And then, after that, once you agree on everything, ship the product from China, because most FBA businesses basically get their products, buy the product from China. So, basically I learned during that degree, I learned how to prospect for suppliers. I learned about, negotiation, business negotiations. I learned about importation and exportation. And I learned about Incoterms, because you have to know a little bit about Incoterms, international commercial terms, if you want to do international, business, especially when it comes to exportation and importation. So I was like, okay, this is exciting. I got so excited about it. I can't tell you how much. As if it wasn't enough, I also realized that with FBA, you need to know a little, some digital marketing, basically, because it's lots of content writing, to write the content when you're doing your listing. SEO, that's, go hand in hand with content marketing, and also PPC, pay-per-click. So I was like, this is the perfect thing for me. I have those, the knowledge that I acquired during my degree. And then I have my digital marketing skills. So that's it. Let's give it a try. It's very important to highlight the fact that even if you don't have all the skills, you still can be very, very successful with FBA. However, it's just my journey. It just happened, for me to have those skills that actually are required to do FBA. So, I decided to give it a try. And basically during my pregnancy, I did all that research. Yes, I was pregnant and I did all the research while I was still doing my consultation work, my digital marketing consultation work. But I realized that, like I said, I had to to pause my digital marketing consultation and do something which will allow me to work less hours. So I did all my research, and then I finally decided which product I was going to focus on. Because the first thing I did, I obviously decided who was going to be my target audience. And I didn't want to go for something that I didn't understand. I didn't want to choose a persona that I had no idea who they are, what they do. And then I was going to start looking for, gather all the information around that persona. So I decided that I was going to be my own persona. I was going to target, women of my, who have young children like myself, who are active, and then work around that persona to develop the persona and see what they will be interested in. And once I did that, it became obvious, a few products just came, were obvious. And then I did my research, and finally I decided which product I was going to focus on. So once I decided that, I also came up with my brand name, which was a quite fun process, to be honest. I came up with my brand name, and then I also did the branding, because I wanted everything to be ready before I go to look for a supplier. So I got my brand name. I worked around my branding, and I'm really, really happy about the branding. So once I was happy with everything, the branding, I was ready to go and look for a supplier. And I won't hide this to you that it was probably the most difficult and the most frustrating part of the journey so far. So I decided to use Alibaba to find my supplier. And like I said, the frustration was intense. Yeah. Basically, the problem was the language barrier. I mean, I approached like lots of suppliers, at least 20 suppliers. And most of them basically didn't, they either were, I mean, their English was poor and it was difficult to have like a proper, discussion around the product. So I found it very, very frustrating. And then, finally, I got to those two suppliers. They were fluent. The people I was talking to, they were fluent in English. So it was easy to have a discussion with them. It was easy to negotiate, the price. So I was like, okay, I need to, choose one of these. And basically, I decided to go with the one whom, I felt, the communication was flowing nicely and she could understand every single thing I was telling her. And I was like, okay, let me go with her because the communication is easier than the other supplier. The other supplier, they had an interesting price, compared to the one I chose. But like I said, communication with the suppliers was something that really frustrated me. And which is why I decided to go with the one that I had the better communication. I talked with the supplier and everything went smoothly from that point. I decided basically to buy the products. I didn't want to have any bad surprises. So I decided to send an inspection company to go and check the products for me to make sure that they were good quality and, that all the requirements were respected, etc. So, they went there and I'm really happy with, because the inspection company were really thorough. They went there and they inspected everything. They sent me videos and pictures and basically it was amazing. So they checked everything, but still, once again, that was my first order. So I didn't want any bad surprises. So what I did is that I decided to have some of the products shipped to my place, at home, for me to be able to open them and make sure that I was happy with everything I was seeing. So I'm so happy because at this stage, as I'm recording this, I have received the products. They're at home. With my husband, we opened all the boxes, we checked them, and we are happy with everything. So now I'm on the process of shipping the products to Amazon. And oh boy, am I excited. I'm so excited. So, I'm going to keep you updated. So this is going to be like a little series. I'm just going to make sure to update you with how things are going, to tell you everything that I'm going to learn through the process. So stay tuned. Like I said, I will update you with everything that I'm learning, the, ups and downs, because to be honest with you, it wasn't a straight journey. When you listen to those ads on YouTube, they seem to tell you that, oh, you don't have to worry. There's almost nothing to do. I can tell you it's not the case. So if you are looking for something that is going to be like, you are just going to, basically there's lots of work to be done, but that's just the first stage. Because now that I have my supplier, I know that, I just need to, when we need to buy more products, I can just, contact them, and that will be almost automatic. That will be done almost automatic because the product will be shipped straight to Amazon, to the Amazon warehouse. And then, but, in the first stage, there's lots to do. If you decide to go down that road, just remember that, the first stage can be very frustrating. I did all the work, when I was pregnant. So I found myself crying quite often with frustration, especially, when I was dealing with the suppliers, and I was like, is it too much to ask to have someone who can understand me? You see? So be prepared for that. And, I will keep you updated. So the next stage will be the logistics, to get the product that were shipped at home to send them to the Amazon warehouse and, kickstart the journey. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If there's something that you'd like me to develop a bit more, maybe something that I said and you were like, oh, I wish that, you had, developed a bit more. So just leave a comment and I'll be more than happy to tell you all about it, because I learned so much, as I'm recording this, I have so many things that I'd like to talk to tell you about, but it's just that, I don't want the episode to be too long either. So I want to keep it, nice, short and sweet, basically. So if there's something that you'd like me to develop and in the next videos, you don't see me talking, you don't hear me or see me talk about those, make sure to let me know in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to develop a video to tell you about whatever you want to know. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this episode once again. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share these episodes to anyone that you feel will be interested in what I'm talking about.